Today, I want to touch on some just trending topics within the industry. So I kind of want to make that shift a little bit into all electronic tolling. With your expertise, how is the rise of electric vehicles affecting tolling systems, particularly in terms of revenue generation and infrastructure adjustments?
Yeah, I will say that if the vehicle is gasoline powered
Mm-hmm.
or uses batteries and electrification, I will say that it has no impact on toll revenue. A vehicle needs to pay a toll irrespectively of how it is being moved.
Welcome to another episode of Toll Talk. We're glad to hear you joining us today to listen in to another tolling expert and seasoned professional that is helping change the way the infrastructure systems are built, maintained, and growing for years to come. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Alex Ficcari, CEO and founder of Mojo.
And I'm Kaylee Jakovics, the Director of Business Development at Mojo. Today with us, we have Bill Halkis, who is the president of IBTTA, as well as the president emeritus of Helistron. Bill, thank you so much for joining us again. This is your second time on our podcast, so we truly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's me who appreciates that, giving me the floor for the second time. I really appreciate it, and many, many thanks to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Well, for those viewers that are listening that may not know you very well, we'd
Unlikely,
love to.
but
Yeah,
we
right.
believe
A lot of people know you and love hearing you, but we'd love to. Well, first, let's talk about how's your summer? How's your summer going so far?
Summer was great.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent the time in the island of Karpathos where we maintain a house. So the whole family got together with friends and relatives. The bad thing is that vacation ended last weekend. So
Oh
we're back to
no.
work.
And where are you located? Tell everyone kind of where you're from.
I live and work in Athens, Greece. But I started my professional career as a traffic engineer back in 1984 in the US and actually in New Jersey. And in 1995, my wife and I, with our 1-year-old son at the time, who was born in the US, we moved back to Greece. Ever since, I live and work in Greece.
Greece is beautiful. What's your favorite part about being there?
My favorite part, as I said, it's Karpathos, right?
Okay. That's fantastic. So, in other words, it should be a must-see destination for anybody coming to the area.
Yes,
correct?
yes, it should. Recently, the New York Times published an article about some of the Greek islands. They included some of the small islands, not Mykonos and Santorini, but they excluded Karpathos. I am sure that on the next round, they will include Karpathos.
They better, right?
Right.
Yeah, they better do.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the organization, your career and background. You gave us a little bit of an overview there, but I would say in transportation, as an engineer background, what role has been the most rewarding for you?
Let me start from the beginning because it was an awkward beginning. I started as an engineer at VEP Associates of West Caldwell, New Jersey, immediately after I got my master's degree from NJIT. And you know what? My first job was the removal of the tolls out of the Connecticut Turnpike.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. And 40 years later, tolls were taken off the Connecticut Turnpike, but I made my living feeding my family and do everything else working for tolls in the toll industry. So immediately after that, a year later, I joined Raymond Keys Associates, a consulting firm in Tarrytown, New York. And I was doing traffic engineering, many traffic impact studies, signalization, highway design, and any kind of other transportation related studies mostly for private real estate development.
Right.
Then, as I said earlier, we returned back to Greece, my wife and my son.
Right.
And a year later, we had our daughter who was born in Greece. And I first joined the Atika Metro, the Athens Metro that was during construction at the time. And a year later, I joined some visionary private developers who had awarded a concession contract to build what we call at the time the Athens Ring Road. It was a
Okay.
toll road around Athens. It's in Greek, it's called Atiki Odos. In English, everyone knows it as Atika Tollway. So I've been the CEO of this the company, the operation company, until January of 2022, and I continue filling in for the rest of the concession, which ends in October of this year, in a month and some days.
Okay, excellent. And I'm just kind of curious. So you've spent a long career in tolling, and you've talked about your roles there. But what do you think is what keeps it intrigued? What keeps it interesting for you? Like, there's got to be. Is it the problem solving, the net result of what you build? Like, what is it that keeps you motivated and makes you love the industry so much?
It is the challenges that you face every day. Every day is a different day, and it's not the same as before. We as traffic engineers say, all Mondays look the same, all Tuesdays look the same. We compare traffic volumes and everything else. But yes, that is the case. However, the issues that we're facing every day, either on our toll road, when we got 60 to 80 incidents that required our immediate attention, or any kind of other issues related to abnormal weather, to accidents, to other kind of incidents, to maintenance, to dealing with the workforce and everything else. Right. Every day is different, and that is a challenge. You never feel bored doing this kind of work that we do as toll road operators.
Yeah. Well, you have to fight against I'll pass it right back over to you, but I think you have to fight against everything from the human impact on the infrastructure. You have to deal with weather. You have to deal with time, because time, erosion and just, evolution. And so that's pretty interesting. What were you going to say, Kelly?
I was just going to say it's a new problem every single day, like what you're saying. And it's, always going to be a different day, another problem solved. So it's kind of cool to hear that you really, truly enjoy that. Not everyone does.
Yeah, and especially in Europe, Cali, where we have concession contracts, there are obligations on both sides, the private sector and the public sector. And as you understand, legal documents always are open for interpretation. So you have to, all the time, you have to balance the contractual obligations with the operational principles, with best practices, and at the end, it is the user who is right. Who is always right. As we say in business, it is the customer who is right. So in our case, the customer is the user. He's always right.
Sure.
Whatever he wants, he's paying a toll, and he demands that the time that he's taking, traveling from point A to point B, it is worth the toll that he's paying. And the safety that he gets going from point A to point B, it is more advanced than any other roads that there are no tolls. So yes, it is a daily challenge, and we have to satisfy all these users. For example, in Atika Tollway, we have more than 300,000 entries a day. So if there are different drivers, I will say 300,000 drivers every day, that you need to keep them happy.
Well, you say something about, and that's quite the challenge, I have to say. That's, keeping all those drivers happy. But it does, it's also about safety, right? You got to keep them happy and safe. And so I'm curious, 2024 has been a big year. I love your background because we're reminded of the, Be Safe Together campaign. Last time we had you on the podcast, it was the kind of the kickoff, the big event. I would love, maybe you can give us a little bit of an update, because it seems like you've had a lot of participation. I would love to hear, how's it gone? What's been the turnout? Was it what you expected?
All right. Thanks for the pass into the traffic safety campaign. That was a call to action, because globally, road accidents is the leading cause of death for ages 5 to 29. And last year, we had 1,190,000 people that were victims. They were fatal victims of our roads in general, everywhere. And the World Health Organization is reporting that we had a falling trend, that we had making progress, and they estimated that that was since 2010, we were better by 5%. Now, that's not the case in the US. In the US, the 43,000 deaths that we had on the US roads were raised by enormous percentage, not close to 25 to 30%.
Wow.
So the Global Road Safety Initiative that IBTTA has launched, and we call it Be Safe Together campaign, was aiming at reducing crashes and enhance safety on all toll roads, obviously worldwide, because we do represent the toll road industry.
Right.
But that was not just an issue that IBTTA had to deal with it. It was a collaborative effort. We needed to bring people together. So we launched this campaign promoting the Be Safe Together principle, but we got other partners with that.
Yeah.
We got in ASECAP, which is the European counterpart of IBTTA. We got IRF, the International Road Federation, based in Geneva. By the way, ASECAP is based in Brussels. PIARC, which is based in Paris. PIARC is the World Road Organization, representing something like 270 countries. Project Edward, a UK initiative, starting from the initials, every day without a road death. And of course, key transportation leaders supported by the US Department of Transportation. So we can highlight the success because the campaign focuses on global case studies and emphasizes the importance of empathy and safe driving. And it is not just one big thing, as we said, but little things add up.
Yes.
Buckle up. Turn on your signal. Put the seatbelt.
Yeah.
One by one, it enhances traffic safety. We don't need to do all those 100 things together because it is not just one thing. Little things add up. Now, how successful we were. Oh, yes, that was a huge success. I will say, Alex and Kali, more than what we expected.
Nice.
Our year objective was raising awareness and enormous responsibility to the global tolling industry for them to initiate kind of activities that they will contribute towards this Vision Zero.
Yeah.
I know it's a utopia, but we have nothing else to say. If we, what can we say? We can say we can live with 1,000 deaths, for example, or I say that to the families of the people who lost their loved ones. So we're talking about Vision Zero, and we all need to get together. So this year, we saw more than 80 members of ours across the globe in all 6 continents doing more than 10,000 media engagement and other activities that were taken off and on the road, like the service areas and everywhere else. And of course, we look forward to provide a full report to our members and to the industry as a whole in Cleveland. In Cleveland, we will present real details and numbers because we should not be afraid to be measured against our goals.
Right.
I think we exceeded the goals and that's fine, but no matter what, every time we set up a goal, we need after that to be responsive and come back and say, yes, here are the real numbers. And that's how we can measure the success or the failure of our initiatives. That was a huge success, and thank you for bringing it up. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Cleveland to more details of the traffic safety initiative.
Yeah, I was going to ask next about the success, but I'm looking forward to hearing it in Cleveland. Throughout the campaign, it seems like there's been great success, but has there been any big challenges
good question.
that you have faced?
Oh, yes, of course. There are challenges, first of all, because of our geographical limitations,
Yeah.
right? We extend, and I should not use the word limitation, I will say our geographical impact, right? We cover all countries, and in some third world countries, they may have tolls, they may have toll roads, but the traffic safety principles or the traffic safety initiatives are still in an elementary
Sure.
stage. So we need to raise awareness, to raise the empathy that everyone needs to show on the road. And the challenges are not only geographical, they are also, you have to deal with, I will say, continuous education of the drivers. I will say with implementation of new technological solutions and expand these technological solutions. You go to some countries and the cars that they are being taken out from the developed world are being sold after that in those countries. And they do not have ABS. They do not have lane departure or any kind of other safety features that they are now standard to every vehicle in the
Correct.
Western world. So all of these are big challenges that we need to come up with solutions.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, we're looking forward to hearing the updates on the success in Cleveland. With having you on again today, I want to touch on some just trending topics within the industry. So I kind of want to make that shift a little bit into all electronic tolling. And, with your expertise, how is the rise of electric vehicles affecting tolling systems, particularly in terms of revenue generation and infrastructure adjustments?
Yeah, I will say that if the vehicle is gasoline powered or uses batteries and electrification, I will say that it has no impact on toll revenue. A vehicle needs to pay a toll irrespectively of how it is being moved. However, there are some exceptions. For example, in Europe, the European Commission mandates lower tolls for electric vehicles. There is an example in Norway where the Norwegian government mandated free tolls for electric vehicles, and that literally led to the bankruptcy of all toll road operators, which after that were nationalized by the Norwegian government. And let's think, Norway produces oil and gasoline and everything else, but they are number one today in electrification. So when it comes into tolling, I do not see, I will say, an impact. The impact may be on the infrastructure, because now we need to develop the infrastructure with charging stations. And there we have challenges. The challenges is to find the land, to find the facilities. On a brand new road, yes, we can literally design this. But on existing roads, we have to find a place. We have to make sure that the grid can give us the energy that we need. And of course, we need to continue the experiments with the new fast charging systems from the pavement while the car is moving, instead of having a car parked in a location and spent there 20 or 25 minutes or half an hour to being recharged.
Yeah, they can continuously charging while they're driving. I know that they're kind of testing that in areas. I guess, do you know I'm sure you know some of the areas where they're testing this, some of the roadways. Is it just U.S. based? Is it global based as well?
Yeah, what I know is that Purdue University in the US team up with the German firm, and they're doing experiments. They even built a mile road on which they are testing all of these systems. So the main issue on electrification of the vehicles is the way we will be recharging. It may be, we have heard also about some crazy ideas that you're going to stop at the so-called gas station, pull out the battery and get a new battery in. But, today lithium batteries are very heavy and it's not easy to pull it out, like you do with other things such as the car battery. You pull it out, you put a new battery in and you go. But for recharging, all of these things, I am sure that the future will be bright and we will have new developments. I just cannot say what kind of developments yet.
Sure, sure. Well, that's when you think about that, changing batteries and equipment and longevity of the systems over, there always comes a question of what conversations are you hearing about the sustainability, right, of the environment and the impacts on that? Because while we still have to continue to build, we still have to support our populations, and we have to promote economic growth and job opportunities and all these things that we have to do. But, a lot of people wonder, okay, so what efforts are going on out there? Are there conversations about sustainability from an environmental standpoint?
Yes, that's a big issue, Alex. And toll roads have to become an integral part of the transportation infrastructure. And we need to offer means to efficiency manage traffic flow, maintain the roadways. However, the environmental impact of the toll roads is a growing concern. And we as an industry aim to evaluate the sustainability of toll roads from the environmental standpoint. We need to explore various factors that contribute to the environmental impact of toll roads, such as air and noise pollution, that everybody understands. Everybody hears the noise. Not everybody, though, understands the air pollution. So we need to work on this, what we call carbon footprint, and to literally work on the resource consumption. We consume water, we consume electricity, so we have to cut down on fumes and all those things. Additionally, we need to examine the potential mitigation measures that we need to take as toll roads and implement innovative technologies that can be implemented to minimize this environmental impact. So we need to somehow establish standards for doing comprehensive analysis to provide a valuable insight of what's the impact of each and every toll road.
Yeah.
And obviously expanding that each and every road in reality, because noise and pollution doesn't come only from toll roads, comes from every road. But definitely we need to apply recommendations and create standards that our members will take on worldwide in order to literally meet the goals of this climate impact or climate crisis that we're living on.
So you bring up a great, I never quite thought about this point, and I really appreciate you saying that. So when you think about those standards and what needs to be put in place across so many different countries and so many players, who do you think, is it a collaboration or is it, do you think there needs to be one central authority to kind of help set a standard or measure it? Not an authority, but the measure of success, a body. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the standards are standards similarly to the standards we use when we design a road or extract the curvature of the road, the minimum radii, or the minimum inclination. So we do have the same standards for noise pollution, for example, how many decibels we are allowed to throw out on the neighborhood and the various communities that we cross. The same thing about our carbon footprint. So this should not be standards that they are applicable only in California, for example, and not in the rest of the U.S. or not in the rest of the world, because literally the climate does not have any kind of borders, right? They cross borders all over, and we cannot say this is an advanced society and this is less developed country. So the standards ought to come from international associations. The World Health Organization, for example, is the one that has put the United Nations World Health Organization has put the various standards on sustainability. And maybe we need to look at them for coming up with standards that they're going to be widespread applicable.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I love that you said that there's no global borders, right? So thank you for sharing that. And moving more into global trends, I guess kind of what global trends are you seeing influencing tolling practices today? and how might they impact U.S. tolling?
I will say that the number one challenge right now is the so-called RUC application, road user charging.
Mm-hmm.
It is because in the US, we all know that it is the gasoline tax that goes to the Transportation
Right.
Trust Fund. With higher efficiency, fuel efficiency vehicles, and with electrification, the revenue that comes in is not sufficient to sustain the existing roads, no matter building new roads. So we need to maintain this revenue. So now we all start talking about the utility model, so that the same way we pay for electricity, the electricity that we consume, or for the water that we consume, we should be talking about the miles driven with our vehicle. And should we charge the same fee per mile or kilometer? Obviously not. Different for a local road, different for a freeway, different for a congested freeway if we want to avoid congestion. So that it is a challenge. The other challenge is prepaid versus postpaid issues. Right now, we collect the gasoline tax on a prepaid basis, right on the distribution before it even goes into the gasoline stations. But when we implement the RUC model, then people are going to be charged after they made their trips. So that it is a challenge there, but I am sure that the industry will find ways to resolve it. Then the other issues that they will impact the future is the expansion of the user finance transportation. You cannot keep asking the taxpayers to pay for roads that they will not be using. So most probably it will be the user pays principle. In Europe, this is very well advanced. User pays and polluter pays. It seems like also becomes a trend little by little in the US, where we're going to see more concession contracts. We don't have concession contracts in the US because we can obtain financing through the markets, the financial markets, with the guarantees of the states and the federal government and the bonds. So we are solving the issue, but I don't know for how long we can keep doing this part without bringing in private developers to play a role. And last but not least, we're talking about a coordinated transportation network. So we should be looking at the mobility as a service, the so-called MaaS. So today's technology allows us to do all those kind of things, to use our bike until a location where they are sharing vehicles, to take the shared vehicle and go to a park and ride facility, to take the train after that to go on the other side and just get an e-bike to go to the last mile. So that it is also a challenge. But I see that all of those four things, RUC, user finance transportation, concession contracts, and mobility as a service will play a crucial role in the development of the industry in the future.
No, I appreciate that. What I really value that you're offering, Bill, is like your insight in that the years of experience that you're offering. I really hope that all the people that are watching on Toll Talk, through our show here, absorb this, right? Because what we need to do is pass this information on, right, and build from it. And that's where I think it's exciting to kind of hear your experience culminating into information that we can go do something with and think objectively in an innovative way about the new technologies and opportunities that are there. So I definitely think it's important because the innovation and the technologies, we need to keep thinking beyond just do you stop and plug in? No, you have to be innovative. We're going to charge while you drive. We're going to think outside of the box. There is no box. We're going to think at multiple levels, and we're going to think of from different vantage points of, like you said, people from all over the world need to have the same opportunities and the same safety considerations. And so, but it's going to take a lot of collaboration. And I think that whether this show or the organizations such as IBBTTA or the other ones that Hellstrom that you're a part of, that's what we need to do is continue to promote that. That's so I really do appreciate that. Do you think that there's the innovations and the thought process that go into the tolling industry today, do you think there's an opportunity to also maybe transform, in other ways that we haven't, yet to be seen in the tolling industry that, I guess a better way to phrase this is, what's the promising technologies that are out there?
All right. When it comes into toll operations, we talk about open road tolling.
Right.
You don't need to have the standard toll barriers,
Right.
the toll collectors, and people handing over cash and everything
Right.
else. Now you should be going toll free. So freeways and tollways will be identical when it comes into the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
So that after that, innovations that they come, we can see them on the various apps that they are offered in the mobile phone. So we're not far away from having one mobile phone with one number, which is going to follow us for the rest of our lives, like our social security number from day one until the day we pass out. So we will have one mobile phone that is going to do a lot of things when it comes into driving, not only on toll roads, but everywhere.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the big challenge is the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming there not as a robot to replace people and eliminate jobs. It's coming out there to add the things that we cannot do today with today's computers or with today's minds of individuals. So artificial intelligence is there to help us with the inspections that we do to the infrastructure, getting the drone up, right, and look at facilities, the bridges, the tunnels, at points where we were not able to look before. So integrating this technology with artificial intelligence, with the new computer power, we will be able to prevent, I will say, accidents, and also to maintain the infrastructure before it becomes a real issue and a real problem. So I see big challenges that they're coming in to assist us to do a better job than the job that we're doing today, Alex.
Yeah. That's really exciting. And I can't help but, so, as you may remember, we're based here in Maryland, right, in the United States. And from our vantage point, we're just not too far from where we had the big bridge collapse that made the news, not too long ago. And so when you talk about the innovations such as technologies and drones flying over and go inspecting various points, like, all through AI and, automation, I mean, it makes you wonder, could, accidents like that be, avoided, right? Are there other, evaluations that may tell us an AI and our algorithm that comes back and tells us, okay, we've seen water flow go at this pace and we see erosion under the ground. And so now it triggers off an alert to say, this is a point of an inspection point, right? Add that to the list to be proactive. And so when you start saying AI, that's what just kind of runs through my head really quickly is that, that preemptive, inspection suggested based upon things that we can't measure actively, that the pace at which we need to measure. It's all fast moving.
Absolutely. And the associations like IBTTA, Hellastron, ASECAP, they are offering a wide range of membership. We have designers, contractors, vendors, software developers, operators, toll road operators and non-toll road operators, everybody that comes together and bring their ideas, their solutions. So we are a forum that we can create really solutions to the daily problems that we're facing, either as a toll road industry, but also as a mobility issue worldwide. And that's the great, I will say, the great job that these associations are doing.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Bill. And I know, so we have a few minutes left, but I wanted to ask you a few more questions. I know, so you're definitely very passionate about the industry. You're very driven. As you're finishing up the presidency at IBTTA, I know the concession contract is kind of coming to an end. What are your plans next? I mean, I know you're still working on a Be Safe Together campaign, but we're looking to hear, what you're going to do next.
As you may know, the involvement of the IBTTA president does not finish with the expire of his or her term,
Correct.
whoever is the president. So I got another year
Woo!
2025, where I'm going to be an immediate past president. I'll sit on the executive committee, and after that, an honorary life member. So
Right.
I will be with IBTTA until the last moment of my life. So,
Oh, I love that.
and that's not only me, it's every other past president. And we join the club and we
Yeah.
say, once you are a president for a year, after that, you are an honorary past president for life.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing.
The
So,
President's Club.
yeah. So when it comes into my professional career, with our concession coming up in October of this year, which is a month and 10 days, and people who know that they're coming up globally, I will say internationally, with various proposals, which obviously I will take under consideration.
Yeah.
But my priority right now is to complete my term at IBTTA and to be there with all of my energy at this critical time, because it is
Fantastic.
critical time. You may have heard that our CEO and managing director, Pat Jones, will retire at the end of the year.
Yep.
We had built up a search committee to find somebody who can measure up to the level of Pat Jones, who literally grew up this association when he took over in 2003 until the end of this year. So I will be discussing new opportunities, but for year 2025 and beyond. 2024, no, I'm all IBTTA.
Gotcha.
That's
But you're just
great.
going to keep going, keep staying involved in the industry. That's what we love to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering, for our audience listening today, do you have any advice for any aspiring leaders in the industry, or even, young professionals who are just getting involved?
Oh, yes, we do have the Young Professionals Council at IBTTA,
Mhm.
and we encourage all of our members to appoint young professionals there. We also have the IBTTA Foundation, which is taking applications now for the 2025 Leadership Academy. And this is great. It is literally educating the future leaders of the toll industry. We have a strong program on young professionals, and in Cleveland, we will have both the Leadership Academy graduates as well as the young professionals being there.
Nice.
We can not leave the talent on the sidelines.
Excellent.
As the transportation industry workforce ages. We need young blood to come in.
Excellent.
Yeah, agree completely. And I'm part of that, the Young Professionals Council too. So definitely advocate for that. And
Yeah. Wow.
Alex, do you have any other questions?
No, Bill, I just want to say it's great having you on the podcast, and I had the honor of meeting you in person, and I love the energy that you bring. So thank you for sharing the information, and we're going to share this information with young professionals, with women in tolling, all across the board, and so we'll make sure that message continues to carry on and get out there. So thanks for keeping us current and keeping us, innovative and sharp as we go through here. So thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you much. Also, just one last thing.
Please.
Yes.
We should be calling people to Cleveland, because we will be dealing with all the issues that we discussed here today: technological
Absolutely.
innovations, climate change. All of those things will be dealt there. The sustainability initiatives, all of these things. So, shout out for us, please, and ask
Absolutely.
people to come to Cleveland. And for the ones who will come to Seville, we'll look forward to seeing you in Seville. I know you will be there.
Yes,
so
sir.
It will be great to see you. And I really appreciate this second opportunity. And I do hope that there will be more with the future presidents of IBTTA. My good friend, James Hoffman, who will be the 2025 president, and Joy D, who will be the 2026 IBTTA president.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, definitely, we definitely actually charge all of you to taking control of your professional career and take this opportunity to join us at the IBTTA events coming up, and they're going to be fantastic, and they're definitely a wealth of information and relationships that you will form for life. No doubt about it whatsoever. So thank you very much for watching. And as always, we ask you to like, subscribe, and follow. And once again, thank you very much, Bill, for joining us today. It was an honor. I'm Alex Ficari, one of your hosts.
And I'm Kaylee Jakovics.
Thanks for watching.